מם עמוד ב', 3 lines from the top. ועל כולם, all of them, אם אמר שהכל נהיה בדברו, יצא. איתמר, רבונה אמר חוץ מן הפת. If you say שהכל יוצא and everything, says רבונה, except from the bread ומן היין, the bread and wine, שהכל is not going to be מוציאו. ורבי יוחנן אמר, נתת ההלכה, אפילו פת ויין ו-bread and wine, you are יוצא if you say שהכל. נעמה כתנאי, maybe it's relate to the following מחלוקת of תנאים. ראה פת, if you saw bread, ואמר כמה נאה פת זו. said, how beautiful is this bread? ברוך המקום שבראה, ברוך המקום השם, who created, and he ate it. The Gemara says, יצא, it was יצא ידי חובה דברכה before eating bread. Similarly, ראה תאנה, if he saw a fig, ואמר כמה נאה תאנה זו, ברוך המקום שבראה. How beautiful is this תאנה, ברוך השם who created? יצא. דברי רבי מאיר. So רבי מאיר hold, if you said a different ברכה than the ברכה you're supposed to do, you are יוצא. רבי יוסי אומר...
Any ברכה?
Similar. Yeah, on anything similar. רבי יוסי אומר, כל המשנה ממטבע שטבעו חכמים בברכות, לא יצא ידי חובתו. Anyway, we change from there. ברכה אין ברכות, is not יוצא ידי חובה. If so, נאמר, רב הונא דאמר כרבי יוסי. רב הונא said that שהכל doesn't work for bread and wine, he hold like רבי יוסי, because he changed from the ברכה that חכמים established. ורבי יוחנן who said that שהכל will work for bread and wine, דאמר כרבי מאיר, that he can say different type of ברכה for bread. Doesn't need to say המוציא, if he said, how beautiful is this bread, ברוך המקום who made it, it's also יוצא. The Gemara says, אמר רב הונא, says רב הונא to you, אנא דאמרי, I can say אפילו לרבי מאיר. Why? עד כאן לא כאמר רבי מאיר, הטעם, when רבי מאיר said over there, that is okay, אני יוצא ידי חובה, אלא איכא דקמטקר שמי דפת. When Rabbi Yossi said that he's יוצא ידי חובה, even though he changed the whole bracha, because by the end of the day he mentioned the word bread. How beautiful is this bread? Baruch HaMakom who made it. Since he mentioned the word bread, so therefore, specific, right? If it's not the same bracha, he's יוצא. אבל איכא דלא מטקר שמי דברד, says Rav Huna, but if he says שהכל, where he doesn't mention the name of the part of the bread, אפילו רבי מאיר, מודה, even Rabbi Meir would agree that he's not יוצא ידי חובה. So Rav Huna can tell you, I cannot even like Rabbi Meir. When Rabbi Meir said that he יוצא, when he said the word of bread, but you say שהכל, he never mentioned the word of bread, and therefore he's not going to be יוצא.
So his opinion is like what we said earlier, where it's like if you say Adama and Etz, because technically Etz comes from the Adama, so it's similar enough and it counts. It says
right, that's why. So Rav Huna hold he's not יוצא ידי חובה and שהכל. He said, why according to Rabbi Meir you are יוצא?
And שהכל, because שהכל
no, Rabbi Meir just said יוצא if you say how beautiful is this bread, Baruch Hashem who made it. Why couldn't you say? Because you said a bracha similar to the bread.
Similar as in it doesn't even
similar
have to be
word.
a bracha, similar wording.
Yeah, according to Rav Huna said, but shakol, it's nothing, you don't mention anything about the bread.
So as long as you didn't have to say Baruch Ata Hashem, like you just say, why is it tov alechem hazeh? Like,
Baruch HaMakom שעשה. Baruch HaMakom, Makom is the name of Hashem. Other people don't use it, but generally it's Baruch HaMakom שעשה.
Interesting. Okay.
Rabbi Yochanan אמר לך, Rabbi Yochanan said that shakol works even on bread and wine. He said, אמר לך, אנא דאמרי אפילו לרבי יוסי. I hold אפילו, according to Rabbi Yossi, that when he said the bracha on the bread, ברוך המקום שעשה, is not יוצא, שהכל will be יוצא. למה? עד כאן לא כאמר רבי יוסי, until now Rabbi Yossi didn't say over there that it doesn't work. אלא משום דכאמר ברכה דלא תקינו רבנן, because he said the bracha that the rabbis never enact. How beautiful is this bread, ברוך המקום who made it, he made up his own bracha. Then Rabbi Yossi said it's not יוצא. But, אבל אמר שהכל נהיה בדברות תתקינו רבנן, ואתי בסדר שהכל, that חכמים enact this ברכה, ואפילו רבי יוסי מודה that you will be יוצא. So we were trying to say that the מחלוקת of רב הונא that שהכל doesn't work on wine, and according to רבי יוחנן that שהכל on bread and wine, and according to רבי יוחנן שהכל works on bread and wine, would be the מחלוקת of רבי מאיר and רבי יוסי. רבי מאיר, if he said ברוך המקום on the bread, you are יוצא, should be like רבי יוחנן, that shakol also work on bread. And Rabbi Yossi said he changed from the language of Chachamim, will be Rav Huna, that a different bracha on the bread is not going to work. Therefore, if he said Baruch HaMakom who made the bread is not going to work, and he will hold like Rav Huna that even shakol, it's not going to work on the.
So they're having an argument in the name of two other rabbis.
So is
that's a comparison.
So we thought it's similar argument, and we answer no. Rav Huna will tell you, I can hold that even though shakol doesn't work on the bread, I cannot even according to Rabbi Meir who said the different bracha are going to work with the bread, because the different bracha mentioned the word bread. Shakol doesn't mention the word bread. So therefore, I hold it's not Yotzei, and I can be consistent even with Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yochanan said, I can be consistent even with Rabbi Yossi, who said, you're not Yotzei on the simon the bracha on the bread, only by bread that you change the language of bracha of chachamim. You made up your own bracha. How beautiful is this bread, Baruch HaMakom who made it, you're not going to be
Instead of
Yotzei.
saying
You say Amud Hayomi.
But if you say Shabbat Shakol Niyah B'Kvaro, it's a type of bracha that chachamim established, then it will be Yotzei.
I got you.
אז רבי יוסי עושה כל המשלם
למה צריכים את זה בכלל?
תבוך
אנחנו למדנו לפני שבן אדם עושה סברי מרנן, נכון? ועושה, ופתאום זה מים, או זה היה beer, right? That's what we learned. And he says the ברכה, יוצא.
נכון.
אז...
No, but on bread, it's different. Now we're
I
just
know,
talking about, we didn't talk about bread.
But they bring up yain and bread.
No, he had in his mind at the beginning Shakol and he finished Gefen. Here, the whole bracha was Shakol. That was the sugya over there. He started right.
But he started the bracha, but he's going to
finished
eat
it
bread. He's
Shakol.
going to eat bread. In his mind, he wanted to do
No,
shakol.
but he said everything Shakol here. Over there, he started
Before and after.
with mind for water and he finished with bread. Here, everything was Shakol bracha. That's why it's a question over here. Halacha l'maaseh we all like Rabbi Meir. Always halacha like Rabbi Meir. So even if you change the language, it's still Yotzei. So if you say how beautiful this bread, Baruch HaMakom made it, you are Yotzei on the bracha.
You can do it.
You don't do it lechatchila, but you are Yotzei, yeah.
You can do it.
The Mishnah Berurah brings his concern. He says since people don't use the word HaMakom as God today, maybe it's missing in the bracha. But in general,
How is a makom in the place? That's Hashem's name.
Makom Hashem, כן.
בין
המקום
אדם
ינחם
לחברו
אתכם.
ובין אדם למקום.
You're telling people. Makom, יפה.
So if you technically like don't know bracha or whatever for whatever reason and you're in a place where you
לא, לא,
can't,
זה שהכל, אחי.
you couldn't just say Baruch HaMakom
לא,
She'aseh.
because שהכל it's more ברכת חכמים הנה.
But how would you say it with bread and then shakol? Like
שהכל and then bread.
you say Baruch Hashem.
שהכל נהיה מדברו חום. אני.
So that's not like Rabbi Meir, that's like Rabbi Yossi.
לא, רבי מאיר hold that even if you change the type of ברכה, you are יוצא. כל שכן, if you say the ברכה או חכמים, that you are יוצא. Even if you made up your own ברכה, you are יוצא.
But you're saying better to stick to what Chachamim says. So it's because shakol is something.
Of course, you don't pay the boss $10.
Interesting.
בנימין ראיה, בנימין the shepherd, קרח ריבתא, he wrapped bread to eat, ואמר, בריך מרי דאי פיתה, ברוך, bless is the creator, the owner of this pita, this bread, that's what he pita. ברוך of the creator of this bread. אמר רב, יצא, says רב is יצא. בגמר אס, ואמר רב, כל ברכה שאין בהזכרת השם, אינה ברכה. בגמר אס, רב said, any ברכה you don't mention the word of Hashem, it's not considered as ברכה. בגמר says, דאמר, בריך רחמנה מרי, דאי פיתה. ברוך השם, רחמנה, רחמנה is the name of Hashem, the Eibishter.
Merciful, right?
נכון? Eibishter, זה ממש. מרי דאי פיתה. So you mentioned the word of Hashem.
How is a makom not saying Hashem's name in vain? Like saying God Amonai.
So it's not really the official name that Hashem, that's how you refer to him. Like more, that's why it's...
Like saying Elokim.
It's like Akadosh Baruch Hu. Like
כן,
saying
הקדוש ברוך הוא, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
בריך רחמן אמר דאי פיתה יצא. So he did mention the name of Hashem, and therefore is יוצא ידי חובה. בגמרא, ואבא אינן 3 ברכות. אבל יוצא ידי חובת ברכת המזון, בניד 3 ברכות ברכת המזון. בגמרא says, מה יצא דקה? אמר רב, when רב says יצא, ידי ברכה ראשונה, יוצא ידי חובה, the first ברכה. Not todos ברכות, ברכה האחרונה, ברכת המזון, יוצא only ברכה
Why, he eats
ראשונה. נכון, אני למה? because of it, we're going to see למה. הגמרא says, מה יקמשמע למה? What's the חידוש יפסור? אף על גב דאמרה בלשון חול, even though he said the ברכה with a regular language, but this is לשון חול. The לשון, he used Aramaic for the ברכה, instead of לשון הקודש. So הגמרא, what's the חידוש over here? That is יוצא ידי חובה, even though you use
a different language.
different language. הגמרא said, I already know it. פנינה, in מסכת סוטה. ואלו נאמרים בכל לשון, the following list can be said in any language, you're not limited to לשון הקודש. פרשת סוטה, the פרשה of סוטה, וידוי מעשר, the confession for מעשר, וקריאת שמע, ותפילה וברכת המזון. So I know ברכת המזון can be said in any language, and all ברכות can be said in any language. הגמרא said, הצטריך, I don't need this, the חידוש over here. סל כדאי תחמינא, I would have thought דאמרה בלשון חול, when you are יוצא, when you use a different language, only if you were exactly translating
Word for
ללשון
word.
הקודש. כי יחיד התקינו רבנן בלשון הקודש. then you are יוצא. תעשה בחכמים מנהג בלשון הקודש. אבל לא אמרה בלשון חול. כי יחיד התקינו רבנן בלשון הקודש, אימה לא. But if you didn't say it by the
Like exact words.
different language, same as חכמים מנהג, as we see here we use the different words. חכמנה,
Right.
דאי פיתה. מה says, maybe is not יוצא, כמה שמלן, that is יוצא. גופה בעין אלה is the last thing. אמר רב, כל ברכה שאין בה הזכרת השם, אינה ברכה. רב holds, any ברכה that you don't mention the name of השם, נשדו. זה לא ברכה. נשדו יברוכה. רבי יחנן אומר, כל ברוכו שאין בה מלכות, אינה ברכה. אין ברכה, didn't mention the מלכות. מלך, מלכי המלכים. ומלך, השם, it's not ברכה. אומר רבי, כבוסה דרב מסתברא. It makes sense like רב. דתניא, we said in the ברייסה, we said one of the vidui maaser, the confession that you said from maaser on the 7th year, without getting into the details, you're saying, לא עברתי ממצוותיך ולא שכחתי. You said to Hashem, I didn't transgress your mitzvot and I didn't forget. The explanation is the following. לא עברתי מלברכך. I didn't transgress from blessing you before I was eating. ולא שכחתי מלהזכיר שמך עליו. And I didn't forget to mention your name on it. So I said, ברכה, I mentioned the name of Hashem. ואילו מלכות לא קטני. It doesn't say, and I didn't forget to mention your kingdom, your מלכות. So you see like Rav, that the necessity of ברכה, it's only the name of Hashem and not מלכות. ורבי יוחנן answer, תני ולא שכחתי, you have to correct the Braita. When he says ולא שכחתי, I didn't forget מלהזכיר שמך, to mention your name, ומלכותך עליו. I didn't mention your name and your malchut on it. So he read this beraita different. When the guy says in the vidui, the confession, that he didn't forget the nation name of Hashem and mention also the malchut of Hashem, as Rabbi Yochanan hold that any bracha that missing malchut of Hashem, it's not beracha. Mishnah.
We're moving on.
כן, we need the Yehuda over here because we're changing bracha. I need to let them know. ועל דבר שאין גידולו מן הארץ, things that it doesn't grow on the land, אומר שהכל נהיה מדברו. על החומץ, on the vinegar, ועל הנובלות, it's a type of dates, the Gemara will explain, ועל הגווי, it's a grasshopper, אומר שהכל נהיה מדברו. רבי יהודה אומר, גווי, רבי יהודה אומר, כל שהוא מין כללה, אין מברכים עליו. Any type that is כללה, you don't say ברכה on it.
מה זאת אומרת?
כללה, because having a grasshopper, it's כללה. פלאג, כן, פתאום יש עכשיו, זה בעיה. And vinegar, that means the wine, sour, זה לא טוב. נובלות, the Gemara will explain, it's bad dates, that it's coming from a
So
klala.
grasshopper is no bracha?
If you have one, yes. If you have a lot of grasshopper, then... But we don't hold like that. We don't hold like that.
Because I had chocolate.
Second part of the Mishnah. היו לפניו מינים הרבה, if you had a lot of type of foods. רבי יהודה אומר, אם יש ביניהם מין שבעה, עליו הוא מברך. If one of them is שבעת המינים, he's going to say ברכה on it. וחכמים אומרים, מברך על איזה מהן שירצה. חכמים says, whatever you like should be the ברכה. First, tomorrow we'll elaborate. תנו רבנן. על דבר שאין גידולו מן הארץ, things that don't grow on the land, כגון בשר בהמות, cow from Clewiston, חיות, animals, wild animals, ועופות, and birds, and chicken, ודגים and fish, אומר שהכל נהיה בדברו. על החלב, on milk, ועל הביצים, on eggs, ועל הגבינה, on cheese, אומר שהכל. על הפת שעיפשה, on bread that got... לא, להתאפש is molded, and you want to eat it because it's healthy, ועל היין שהקרים, on a wine that the flavor got sour, ועל התבשיל שעיבר צורתו, on a dish that got already spoiled, You don't say ברכה, אומר שהכל נהיה בדברו.
מי אוכל את זה?
שאלה טובה. על המלח, on
No, say שהכל, interesting.
על המלח, on the salt, ועל הזמית, different type of salt, ועל כמהין ופטריות, mushrooms and... מה אומר? כמהין ופטריות? אומר שהכל. So you see, פטריות is mushrooms. למימרה, why are you saying שהכל on mushrooms? דקמאים ופטריות, לאו גידולי קרקע נינו. truffles, נכון. So on mushrooms and truffles, זה ברכה שהכל.
Truffle.
It's a type of a mushroom. So,
Who's talking by the way, Rabbi? Is this just Gemara saying things right now? Because it's just saying halakha, no arguments.
yeah.
Not everything needs to be
You can
argued.
see how advanced they were. They knew mushrooms weren't a vegetable, it was a fungus, even back
Okay,
then.
it's more even more than let's see now.
Wow.
They know better than us.
Yeah, right?
We are below, not that they were advanced. למימרה, דקמאים ופטריות, לאו גידולי קרקע נינו. It seems that vegetables, mushrooms and truffles are not a growth of the land. Therefore the bracha is שהכל. The Gemara says, נינו, והתניא, but we said in the ברייתא, הנודר מפירות הארץ, somebody who made a neder is not going to enjoy from the fruits of the land.
Make a nether of what? Make a nether of what?
He's not going to enjoy the fruit of the land.
So mushrooms all day.
What do you mean make a nether though? Nether of...
אני נודר שאני לא אוכל יותר מפירות הארץ. So what's under the definition of פירות הארץ? אסור בפירות הארץ, is prohibit all of the fruits of the land.
I think that grows out of the
הוא
land.
מותר בכמהין ופטריות. But mushrooms and truffles is מותר. Because it's
That's
not
the proof.
considered as פירות הארץ. אבל לא, ואם אמר כל גידולי קרקע עליי,
Wow.
if he said all of the growth
On the surface.
of the land on me, meaning everything grows on the land,
Right.
אסור אף בכמהין ופטריות is prohibited also with
The truffles and mushrooms.
truffles and mushrooms. You see that it's considered as
Still part of the
גידולי
land.
קרקע, the growth of the land. אמר אביי לא, מירבה רבו מערה. They grows from the land. But minki, the nutritions, לא ינקי מערה. They don't
Nutrients?
they don't
Nurture.
nurturing from the land.
Oh, they don't get nurtured by the land, yeah.
They don't nurture. No, what's the word?
Nurtured by the
They
land.
don't nurtured by the land. So therefore, if he said anything grows from the land, it's prohibited to me. It grows from the land. But the bracha, it doesn't nurture from the land, and therefore, it's not bore pri adama, because it's not fruits that come from the land. It's come from the air.
Right.
והדבר שאין גידולו מן הארץ, קטני. If he said, הדבר שאין גידולו, we said in the Mishnah, הדבר שאין גידולו מן הארץ, on דבר that doesn't grow in the land, from the land.
yeah.
That seems like it grows on the land. So our Mishnah said anything that grows on doesn't grow on the land is she'akol, and that's under the category. Mushrooms and truffles is under the category of דבר שאין גידולו מן הארץ, but it grows from the land, just doesn't nurture from the land. כלומר, so Tani gives this correctly in the Mishnah, על דבר שאין יונק מן הארץ, on דבר that doesn't nurture from the land, then the bracha will be she'akol. Therefore, כמהין ופטריות, mushrooms and truffles that are not nurturing from the land, the bracha will be she'akol.
But mushrooms, if I'm not mistaken, they can grow on things that are not the land too, right? Like,
And that's the idea, they don't nurture from the
wood.
land.
so then why even start this
Usually it's
argument?
on the land, but doesn't nurture on the land.
But this is it's in a class of its own. It doesn't. This type of thing doesn't have to grow on land.
No,
It shouldn't-
that's exactly the point. Even though it grows on the land,
But it
but
doesn't.
doesn't
That's what I'm
nurture.
I'm
No,
saying-
yeah, it's physically on the land, not nurture from the land.
Got you. Okay.
ועל הנובלות, we said the נובלות, the bracha is שהכל.
Mas
מהי
novlot?
That's when I ask you a question.
Ah.
Gemara says, מהי נובלות? מה זה נובלות? רבי זעירא ורבי אילאי bring מחלוקת. אחד אמר בישולי קמרה. If you left if the date sitting too much on the palm tree, it's getting burnt by the sun. מבושל too much.
You guys are dried out pretty much.
נשרופי, they're burnt out.
Burnt out. Okay.
ואחד אמר תמרי דזיקה. the dates of the wind. Sometimes when it's windy, dates are falling on the ground. So machloket if it's when novlot, if it's burnt dates or zika dates from the wind. תנן, בסדין המשנה, רבי יהודה אומר, כל שהוא מין כללה, אין מברכים עליו. Anything it's כללה, it's a course, you don't say ברכה on it. The Gemara says, בשלמה למאן דאמר בישול לקמרא, the one who hold that novlot is the burnt dates, היינו דקרי לי מין כללה. That's why it's called כללה. Why it's כללה? Because it was too heat and it got burnt. כפרה. אלא למאן דאמר תמרי דזיתא, the one who hold is the dates that flow with the wind, מהי מין כללה? Why it's a type of klala? It's happened to fall from the wind. You can still eat it. So why it's called klala? The Gemara says, answer ash'ara. When it says min klala, not only it doesn't refer to novlot, rather it refers over there on the grasshoppers and the vinegar. That's what you're referring to klala. So
what does it do with the wind though?
No, because the wind is not klala. You can still eat it.
Okay.
So he's saying that the dates who go with the wind are not a part of the klala.
Yeah, it's not part of the klala. So if your novlot is the one who goes to the wind, doesn't make sense. It's klala. No, you refer to others.
So then you make a bracha.
The Gemara asks you a question. Ika Damri, some said the question the following. Bishlema lemad damar bishul lekamra. I can understand the one who holds the burnt dates. Anu de mevarchim alayu she'akol. That's why the bracha is she'akol, because it's not a zerabon. Ela lemad damar tamre de zika. The one who holds the wind is the dates of the wind. She'akol. The bracha on it she'akol. Borei peri ha'etz mi ba'ale livruchei. It's must say borei peri ha'etz. It's a good date. Lama yesh she'akol. Therefore, we don't go by this machloket. Rather, novlot for sure it's not the dates of the wind. Because shubur b'shakol. It's good dates, just flew with the wind.
Right.
Ela benovlot stama, novlot in our Mishnah stam, kula melo pligi debushu lekamraninu. Everybody agreed that novlot in our Mishnah stam, when it said the word novlot without a second word to it, it means the burnt one. And therefore, a Mishnah talking about it's burnt, therefore there is only she'akol on it, and therefore it's part of the klala. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's beautiful. Kipligi, they're machloket, whether if it's the burnt of the one from the wind on a different topic. Kipligi benovlot tmara. When we said the word novlot tmara, that's something else. Novlot is the burnt one. Novlot tmara, this is where the machloket, what is novlot tmara? Where do we see novlot tmara? The Tanah, like we say in the following Mishnah, Hakalin shebadmai. Dmai, it's a safek whether you gave maasrot or not. So if somebody buys fruit from a Amaretz, you don't know if he gave maaser or not. So it's called dmai. Dmai, it's a safek of maaser.
Okay.
So certain type of fruits, Chachamim were limit with them more when it's dmai to permit you to eat it without maaser. The following list: Akalin shebadmai. The following Chachamim were lenient on dmai that you don't need to do maaser, which is hashitin. The Gemara will explain each one. What is that? Ve'arimin. I was thinking like I'm going to translate into English, but the Gemara explain. Ve'ozredin, bnot shuach, ubnot shikma, ve'gufnin, ve'nitzpa, ve'novlot tmara. So all this list is the light. It's Chachamim, they were lenient on it regarding Duma. Okay, not to give Truma and Maaser. The Gemara explains, Shitin, מה זה Shitin? Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, min te'enin. Certain type of figs that are not chashuv, so the Amaretz doesn't care, and most likely gave Maaser on it. Because the only chashash for Maaser is Amaretz maybe didn't give Maaser, but on things that are not chashuv, Amaretz doesn't care and he gives maaser on it.
Okay. But what if things are more valuable?
Then it's a problem. So that this list is non-valuable stuff that we assume that Amaretz gave maaser. So, rimin, מה זה rimin? Candy. סוכריות.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm just kidding. No. rimin, candy, and little as a candy.
Oh, candy. Yeah, it says candy. Yeah, it says
Candy.
candy, yeah.
Auzredin, telushi. Something else. Benot shuach. Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Te'ini chivarta, Ashkenazi figs, white figs, which is not chashuv. Bnot shikma, what bnot shikma? Amar Rabba bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, דובלי,
Oh, okay.
מה זה?
קייפר.
Capers?
Oh, again
עוד
with
פעם?
this. Again
Again with the
this.
capers, I'm traumatized.
קייפר כתוב לי פה, לא, next one is קייפר, כתוב לי פה קייפר, אבל לא. גופנין, what is גפן, גופנין, עזוב. תפסיד את זה. שלהי גופנין. The early, no, the late grapes in the vineyard, which is not חשוב.
Did you say there was three? There was this one, Boshet.
Yeah, no, so the one who grows at the end of the season.
Okay.
ניצפה, זה פרחה, זה קייפר. נובלות מרה, that's what we read all this for. What's נובלות מרה? So here is different name. המשנה says נובלות, we know it's the burnt one. What's נובלות מרה? רבי אילאי ורבי זיירה, מחלוקת. אחד אמר בוש לי קמרה, one said it's the burnt one, ואחד אמר תמרה זיקה, אחד אמר is the days of the weed. So their מחלוקת, it's not over there in our Mishnah, rather not over here in our Mishnah, rather over there in the Mishnah of Dmai. This is where they're arguing what's novlot mara mean, is the burnt one or the wind one.
Is that why they thought it was dates before? Because it's like novlot mara.
So over there is novlot.
Said novlot,
Novlot is the
period.
burnt one in our Mishnah. The one in Masechet in Dmai, over there it's novlot mara. Over there they're arguing what is novlot mara means. According to...
So no one disagrees that novlot is the burnt one.
Yes.
When you say
Over
noflot by
there-
itself is the
Yeah,
burnt
novlot
one,
mara.
not noflot mara.
It's a machlok, the wind.
Gotcha, okay.
Now the Gemara אין אלא את זה. פישלמה למאן דאמר בושלי קמרה, the one who holds is the burnt dates. היינו דקטני הקלים שבדמאי. Therefore I can understand why he says those light of דמאי, ספקנו דפטור. מספק, what's it דמאי? דמאי it's a ספק. So the burnt one on a ספק you פטור. הוודאן חייב. But if it's for sure you didn't give maaser, you have to give maaser because this is a fruit who came from the tree. So most likely he gave, but if you know he didn't give maaser, obviously, you gotta give maaser. Dma, it's always when you're not sure. So things here, you're not sure, we assume that he gave maaser, and you don't need to give maaser. Ela, leman de'amar tamre dezika, the one who holds that novlot mara means
The wind.
the dates of the wind.
Right.
The vada'an chayav, which says here, safek is not chayav, right? Dma it's safek. But if it's vadai, he didn't give maaser, you're
can't eat it.
You're supposed to be chayav to give maaser.
Yeah.
The Gemara says, but how come? Hefker aninu. The hefker. We ever rule anything that is hefker. You know what is hefker? Hefker?
Let's go.
Ownerless. Anything that ownerless doesn't chayav in maaser. If you see fruit flying out of somebody else,
Like field or whatever.
somebody else's yard to the street,
Go pick them in and
he
go.
gave up on it. It's hefker. And you can pick and eat, you don't need to give maaser. So the Gemara says, the one who fly with the wind, people are already giving up on them. So it seems like only in the safek you don't need to give maaser, and vadai you need to give maaser. Why would you give maaser? It's ownerless. We have a rule, never give maaser. The Gemara says, no, acha b'mayaskinan she'asa'an goren. We're talking about that he collected, and he made a pile out of it. So it's richayav in maaser. דאמר רבי יצחק אמר רבי יוחנן, משום by the name of רבי אליעזר בן יעקב, הלקט והשכחה והפאה, this is the gifts for the עניים, the small things that fell while you harvest, they collected, things that you forgot in the field, and פאה, the corner that you live in the field, so it's פטור for maaser. But שהסען גורן, if you made it into a pile, הוקבעו למעשר, it's חייב to give
Massive.
So if you leave it, it doesn't have masel. But if you gather and put
If
it
you
in a
got
pot,
making part of it, you have a maaser, and then you need to give it back to עניים.
Because they're showing that they still care about it if they put it together in a
Yeah,
pile.
if you put another, it's a special chiyuv for maaser.
but if you leave it anyways for anim, no?
Yeah, but if you make a pile out of it, you
You
have
have
to
to
maaser,
maaser
and you have
and
to
give it
keep
to
the
them.
difference of
So
עניים.
it's double tax.
כן, הלך עליו, כן.
Gotcha.
So, by the way,
So don't pile.
this is the only mitzvah that you cannot do if you want to forget something on the film.
That's true. It's
forget.
involuntary.
Yeah.
It's
If you
involuntary.
think about it,
Yeah.
you can do it. So we answer. So novlot mara means machloket, and the one who holds it is the one of the wind. What's the case? It's going to be chayav vadai. If it's for sure didn't give maaser, why would it be chayav when he collected, made it into a pile?
So there can be a effect pretty
Then
much.
it's a vadai. That's chayav. The Gemara
Yeah.
says, "Ike de'amre." Some ask the question in the following way: Bishlema leman de'amar tamre dezika. The one who holds it, the date
Or the wind.
of the wind. And I understand. היינו דאח הקרי לנובלות מרה. That's why in the Mishnah of Dmai it call it נובלות מרה. נובלות מרה means the one of the wind. והתה מן המשנה, קרי לי, I'm sorry, אנו דהכה קרי לי נובלות סתמה. That's why in our Mishnah it's called נובלות.
סתם.
והתם קרי לי תמרה, נובלות ותתמרה. So the one who hold that נובלות תמרה is the one of the wind, the name makes sense. In our Mishnah, נובלות means the bird one, and נובלות תמרה means the wind one. So I can understand why the Mishnah called it differently in Masechet Demai, different than our Mishnah. אלא למאן דאמר בושלי קמרה, the one who hold that נובלות תמרה, it's also the bird ones. So it comes out that נובלות means
Also bird.
the bird.
Bird.
נובלות תמרה means the bird, the burnt one.
So it's a double-
If so, why we change
בלשון.
the language in
Yeah,
the
why
Mishnah?
not say נובלות twice?
מתנה אידי ואידי נובלות מרה, or אידי ואידי נובלות סתמה. Let's say either both of them נובלות מרה, or both of them נובלות סתמה, because it's the same thing.
Famous answer.
Famous answer in the world, best answer,
That's
Kashya.
a question.
Yeah.